way do we go is the question.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. So last you probably seen a little video of me fucking around with the tranny. Basically the tail housing was, well, the shifter extension, basically the shifter was extended 2.5 inches so it would fit in my new hole. It's actually really fucking dead center. And the tail shaft housing needed to be resealed, so I was doing that, and I had a bitch of a time trying to get the stupid shifter fork thing aligned. Anyways, so I was like, oh, fucking piece of shit. So I put it on my bench and then I started working on it. Everything was cool, and then I put the engine back in. It took me forever. I had a hard time with my custom mounts being just maybe a little bit too tight. So yeah, and then like I was like, okay, and done. Once the engine was in, then I was excited to put my new intake that just got welded, and they say fitment's pretty freaking mint. I did bash in my brake booster just a bit, just to give it a, there's like an inch clearance now. Other than that, I had to get a reservoir for my clutch master. This is still loose. I'm gonna try to find some way of getting that fixed down. What else? Oh, there's oil leaking from my stupid turbo, the oil drain fitting, I believe. So I gotta put a hose on that, but I also gotta put my manifold on, which is over there. See that little piece right there? Gotta put my manifold with my turbo and mock up the line. I have to do a block off plate for the FIVA, whatever it is. It's the fast air idle valve thingamajiggy. This is actually EVA 123 throttle body. Excellent, it works good now. What else? So yeah, I just came back from the store because I went to go buy some wiring, so I'm probably gonna build a bracket or something, a plate to hold my AEM EMS-4, and we're gonna do the harness that goes to the engine. And I'm just waiting for, well, Ryan's actually coming, so I'm waiting for Ryan to show up. Whew, it is fucking hot today. I don't know, you can see the fucking red. Anyways, yeah. And then we're also gonna be working on the JZ Beamer, not today, but soon. The JZ's sitting pretty right there. She just wants to get worked on. Ryan works a lot. And I used to work a lot. I actually quit my job. Yeah, I quit Enterprise. It's about fucking time, right? I got a new job. You guys can go check out or buy stuff. It's off at ft86motorsports.com. I work for them now. Actually them, Subi Depot, and dipit.ca. So if you guys need anything, just give me a call and I'll hook you guys up with some product. Gotta get a new oil filter, gotta change the oil. Line for PCV, that'll work. That'll work. Oh yeah, I don't know if I told you guys, but I put the EVA 123 steering column back in just so like everything's plug and play. And I have to remake the shifter, not the shifter, the we can't really see, but there's like a, for the steering column to the steering rack, I have this. This actually bolts into the steering column well, and then I might chop it here and put like a sleeve on it and then weld the sleeve to that and then weld to the steering column so it only disconnects there, but it has a pivot point there, so should be pretty good. I can't wait to work on this. Well, I've been working on it yesterday and today a little bit. Later on when Ryan's gonna be here, we're gonna do the wiring harness, and I'm gonna jack it up, measure the drive shaft, because fuck using the IS300 drive shaft. Yeah, it might work. It's a two-piece drive shaft. I have it over there, but I kind of want to just like, okay, let's just get, well, how much is it? Like fucking 500 bucks? Let's just fucking do it. So we're gonna do that. This sensor is busted. It broke when I put it in or took it out a couple times a while back. Anyways, I have a new one in a box. So that, I gotta block off this oil feed line. Maybe I don't. That'd be fucking simple, this one. I'll see, because my line is a little too short coming off the oil feed down there. So I'll see. Might actually order something. I got my oil feed line, just I would need a restrictor for the turbo so it doesn't get too much high pressure, because the whole sets are finicky when it comes to oil pressures. I kind of want to redo my seat brackets. It's solid, but the seat is a little bit too much towards the door. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for right now. Garage is a mess. I bought a little bit more tools too. Like, I have all of this and everything's mint. I just wanted a second set because it was on special. This, instead of 20 bucks, was six bucks for some cutting wheels. Got some posts from a battery. I'm gonna mount the battery in the back seat here somewhere. And yeah, it's a little hot right now, so I'm just gonna go inside and work on the wiring harness. Also, I got this stupid little thing, the bug catcher. It's like caught like 1, 2, 3. It's got a couple bugs on it. I got like 15 of these things, so put them all over the garage and be like, fuck you, don't you dare bite me. Alright, so as you guys can see, we now have wires going through the engine bay. Sweet. So I got all my wires passed and routed. Got my inlet air temperature sensor, which will be inside the front mount intercooler, well, the intercooler piping. My GM4 bar map, Evo 3 TPS sensor, the 4 injectors. Underneath, we actually, up here we have the wiper plug and the oil, the brake oil level. Down there, those two sensors, we got the coolant temp and the dummy light that goes to the dash, and also the knock sensor. Up here we have the cam sensor, crank sensor, and I just fucking hit my leg on that. So you got the crank sensor, all 4 coils. These are Toyota Corolla coils, I believe. Anyways, any Toyota coil should work. Cam sensor, and then everything goes routed in there. And then right here, this plug here is the windshield washer plug, which I probably won't be using, and I probably won't be plugging power steering thing. I don't know what it does normally. So everything's routed in here. You can see it's a big mess of spaghetti. Spaghetti-o. I might actually pull the wiring harness out so I can connect my new harness here, the AEM EMS-4, and then I gotta find a mounting solution inside. Yep, let's do it. So yeah, I decided to pull out the harness, and it's really raining outside. Look at that. I gotta steal a roof so you can really hear it. Oh, I don't know if you guys seen, but I added a TV to my garage. So, the way I am doing it is, right now I'm doing the injectors. I separated the injectors from the rest of the harness. So, selected the injectors, did the same thing on the engine. So I have all 4 injectors. I already soldered, well, not soldered, I already shrink wrap. This is twisted together and it has the glue shrink wrap, so there's no way this is coming apart. Always give it like a pull test just to make sure. I've already done the knock sensor. I have to add the ground. Actually, this is the not sensor ground, but this is ground for the shielded wire. Up here I have another ground. This is the ground for the knock. So injector number 2. And also at the same time, I'm trying to keep it like the same length, but not have the shrink wrap at the same places. So giving it like same length, but not like a big bundle, so it fits through nicer. So now we got injector 2. Gonna remove that. Injector 2. So you can see, I kind of want to have it like here. So this one, we're just gonna chop in the middle of this injector thing. So remeasure that. And do like it around here. This might not be the method you guys use. I've never had problems with this. I mean, even Turbo Yoda doesn't solder. He just used butt connectors, and he has his own ray shop and everything. I think he's doing pretty well for himself, so might have to go to the store and get some more shrink tube. I don't have much left. Ryan doesn't agree with this method either. He's like, oh, you should solder everything. I don't know. I think if they're twisted properly, and then you put some good quality shrink tube over, shouldn't have any problems. See like how that's gonna line up, not in line with that one or this one? That's the way I'm trying to do it. And then you just stick the lighter to it. And hey, if I do have any problems, then I can fucking take it apart. It's not a big deal. Alright, just got this bundle left to do. Alright, so I got most of these done. Basically, the only one left I really need to do is the TPS sensor, which I gotta extend. This goes to the interior harness. This is the taco wire. I put it to a universal GPIO plug. I only plugged 4 instead of 8 because I was like, I'm not going to use 8 because I don't have NOS or something crazy. So GPIO 1 and GPIO 2, just call them universal pins, whatever. One is fuel pump and the other one is rad fan. It's all controlled by the computer. And with the coolant temperature sensor, once it gets to a certain degree, I can put it on like, okay, once the temperature is 180, kick on the fans. So I gotta, this is just basically a switch, so I gotta do actual 12 volt with a relay to the rad fan. And then this fourth one, well, tack going to my tack inside the dash. My dash is there. The fourth one is gonna be probably a button. When I click it up, it's gonna get anti-lag, so there's that. These 3 wires are, well, this one here is power to injectors and power to coils. This is 12 volt constant, well, 12 volt switch ignition to the cam and crank sensor. The bar map sensor and the TPS sensor both need a 5 volt. So if you see here, I put map 5 volt and TPS reference 5 volt. That actually goes to the VCC, which is a 5 volt constant. So there's actually 2 wires going to this one, so that's why I didn't tape it up. And the TPS, I just got to extend the wires. Basically, one of these wires doesn't get used anymore, one of these green ones, because it's idle something switch, which you don't need. You just need the, need this TPS signal. Yeah, idle switch, you don't need that. So it's TPS signal, the VCC 5 volt, and sensor ground. So these are all my positives. I gotta get that into a block somewhere with either a switch or with the ignition probably. I also got 2 grounds here, and then I got the ignition switch and battery negative, so I gotta plug that up. The O2 sensor, this is the signal from the wideband, which isn't hooked up yet. TPS, it's just another negative. GPIO plugs. And then I got all my negatives run here, so I'm gonna have to take the negative here, put it here. So basically I have all my negatives pretty much together. I got a negative block there that I put, and I'm also gonna have to put another engine negative. Probably I'll put it on the starter. And yeah, it's coming pretty good. I have a couple pins left. Ooh, I got a couple pins left in the interior fuse box that this normally goes in the engine bay. The way it works is red wire goes to the battery in the back, and then the white wire goes to my alternator. That's how it is stock, so that's how I'm gonna leave it. And I had taken out a bunch of fuses and pins, like fog lights and like not horn. There's a bunch of stuff I didn't use, and I kept the pins, so I'll just put the pins back in. And I think what I'll do is I'll put the pin 12 volts whatever to turn on the ECU when I turn the key to on. So no, it's a lot of custom shit, right? You got to know what you're doing. Luckily I've done this a couple times and I've read up a lot online. The best thing to do when you're unsure is just to read, ask questions. People in the car industry sometimes are dicks, but definitely just, you know, you guys can message me if you want. I don't mind helping you guys out. Does it go that way? Yeah. It does not. Or does it go like this? Yeah, it definitely goes like that. So like the vacuum to that vacuum, PCV. Probably what I'll do is I'll do a catch can setup, the PCV to a catch can setup, and put it back in one of these. And then I got the rear one there, which I gotta whoop into the intake somehow. Actually, this one, it needs a catch can. This one in the back here, the PCV, whatever, it needs to go into a catch can and then to the intake probably normally. I'm just gonna put it into a catch can. And then this one here, the PCV, well, a PCV valve that goes in one of these things. That's actually, I didn't know. I thought it was just some weird thing that was welded on, but it's actually a stock Evo bar map sensor. So what I might do eventually is upgrade to Omni bar sensor, and it bolts right into there, and I can get rid of that one, which is pretty fucking cool. I didn't even know, because since this is an Evo 5, it has a MAF and not a map, so that's why I'm running now a GM bar map. I'm fucking stoked. Like, honestly, just looking at it like this, and I'm just like, damn, I'm fucking happy. Let's take a picture. All right, let's get back to work. So we have the AEM plug. We got a battery negative. This is the O2 battery and switch ignition. We got the, I don't know what those two plugs do, but I think it's something to do with CAN bus. And you got the tuning wire plug, which is right here. It's going to be mounted in the car. AEM. It's mounted with a screw, like a switch. You got the 3 GPIO plugs. So rad fan, fuel pump, and probably anti-lag. Tacho's already plugged. All the way in the harness, this is for the windshield washer reservoir, which I don't have. And then you got the power to injectors, power to coils, power to crank, and power to cam, which I need to bring it in here. And then like this is a body plug. I'm pretty sure there's another body plug inside that I can get that from. And yeah, it's a lot cleaner. Sweet. All right, so engine is 100% wired. I just gotta take the harness out and wrap it around and get some protective wiring. I was actually pretty fucking lucky because I don't know, like I was talking to you about that there was a harness here that I'd probably get the positive for the ECU, which I did using my own multimeter. I was able to find out when the ignition is off, it's 0, and when I turn it on, it goes to 13 or whatever. My battery is in the back. So battery is now plugged. I just gotta get a box for it and probably shorten this wire, since this is for a BMW and normally it goes from the front of the engine all the way back into the trunk. And then I did the same thing with cranking the key, and it gave me 12 volts, so that's my starter wire. So I was able to find the 12 volt switch ignition for the ECU, power all the other shit, and the starter wire. So once the starter's in, I'll be able to wire that up. Other thing is, I gotta wire my alternator. I have the 2 wires there. I got the lamp wire and the sense wire, or the field. I'm pretty sure it's sense. Or field. Anyways, I just gotta take this connector right here, and I gotta splice into that for the alternator. Everything else is plugged. So everything right now will turn on with the key. Like right now, look at even the gas is going down because there's no gas. Yeah. I'm gonna have some red LEDs in there. Flashers. Right now nothing is wired up in the front for the lights, but in the rear I got my flashers. Let's get you a shot of my brake lights. So this is lights on, brake lights. Nice. So the ECU is now mounted. Well, it's plugged in right there. I could actually plug in my laptop and start tuning it, but there's no point. I gotta wait for a couple things. I'm actually probably going to get the drive shaft later. Actually, I'm going to get the drive shaft later. I gotta make the bracket that goes to the steering rack. What else? Everything else pretty much, like, it's gonna be like OEM. So I'm gonna take this door off, put on the door with the non-electric windows, so I can roll them up, roll them down. What else? I really want to redo my seat bracket just to put it more towards the transmission tunnel. Give myself a little bit more room. Shifter's in a good position, even with there, let's get in the car. One, I still got like a lot of room. I'm gonna make myself a switch panel here. It's gonna cover that. It's gonna have my 4-way flashers. It's gonna have this. Probably no gauges since I got the gauge pod here. Oh, check this out. This is how OEM it is. I can just put it on accessory. Oh, just like OEM. I don't know why it breaks there, but then you gotta press it a second time. And then just the tilt when it's raining. Put it down. I gotta put a light bulb in there since there's no bulb. I'm gonna mount my boost gauge right in the middle here since the speedometer is not gonna work. My Blitz boost gauge. That one there is water temp. I'll have my fuel gauge, which I should be getting soon in the mail. And then that third one there is going to be my wideband AEM. And then here, yeah, switch panel. I don't know what I'm gonna really do. I was gonna do like fan, a fuel pump and shit, but now I'm just gonna get it run by the ECU. So I'm gonna have one switch. It's gonna be for anti-lag if I want, and I think that's it. I can't really think of any other switches I would need since everything is pretty much OEM. So I got a couple of holes to block. Maybe you guys can see that in there. Oh, and I'm gonna have my cigarette lighter. And I'll probably buy one of those USB. Oh, and I'm gonna put a radio since I got my radio plug. Not that one. A second, I'll find it. Ah, here it is. My radio plug. So I'm on a radio with, like, I don't know, a speaker underneath here, and like a speaker underneath over there. And yeah, maybe two speakers in the back too, just like, you know, have fun. I don't have any sun visors left, but that's not a big deal. Just gonna windscreen banner.
Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go.